Hey gang, Nick Howell from NetApp, Tech Marketing Engineer for the VMware space. We're going to continue our series of videos on the VSC here with the provisioning and cloning functional area. While there's not a lot that I want to demo in this video on this screen, I did want to show it because it gives you a nice list of, in the summary, of what you can do with this one. Now, for those of you that have been around for a long time, you might recognize a lot of this in what was previously known as our rapid cloning utility. And we still refer to it as the RCU. That was our baby. It's what it started out as. But we eventually baked it into the VSC in version 2. And a lot of the functionality still exists and has been advanced and further developed. The things that you do mostly in here are manage a set of storage controllers. There is a lot of integration points with VMware View that allow you to communicate with your connection broker servers, as well as do full redeploys with our FlexClone technology. For the purpose of this video, though, I want to show you the data store provisioning and management side of the house. So if we right-click on an individual cluster that contains a number of hosts, you'll see that we have this submenu that comes up under NetApp. And it gives you a quick way to provision a data store. Now, let's think back for a second. What's the manual way of provisioning a data store? You got to go to a host, you got to go to configuration, you got to go to your storage section, you got to click add storage, you got to do NFS, you got to type in the IP address of the storage, you got to put in the exact folder path, you got to go to name, next, and then it's got to work. And then you got to do that exact same thing for every other host that's in this cluster. And now let's not do that anymore. This is probably the most underrated, unknown, best feature of the virtual storage console is the quick data store provisioning. In several mouse clicks and a couple of screens, we're going to provision a data store to every single host that's in this cluster. We're going to create the volume on the back end. We're going to create the NFS exports on the back end, or the iGroups and associated things necessary to zone a new LUN to all of these to create a data store that way. We have the ability to do it to multiple storage controllers based on what's been configured. It supports both 7 mode and cluster mode. So if you do a 7 mode controller, it will prompt you for just the controller. If you do a cluster mode set, it'll ask you for the cluster and then which vServer you want to provision it from. We're going to do a cluster mode demo here. We're going to provision it to a vServer 1. We're going to leave it on NFS. And we're going to create a new data store. The beauty of this is that we can oversubscribe in large amounts. If you think of a flexible volume as a slinky, that's exactly what it is. You can grow it and shrink it on demand as needed, and we're going to demonstrate that here right now. I'm going to create a 10 gig data store. Let me call it Nick Data Store. I'll leave it in that aggregate. I'm also going to check thin provisioning, which sets the space guarantees on the volume on the back end for you. And we're also going to go ahead and set our auto grow policies here. We're going to say that it can grow in increments of 10 gigabytes up to a maximum data store size of 100 gigabytes. Click Next and Apply. Now if we watch the recent tasks, we'll see that there's a master process here. We're going to refresh the storage on the host side. You'll see that it's going to create the volume stuff on the back end, and then you'll see create NAS data store as the next steps. There we go, 1 for each host. I've only got 2. I'm sorry. Can't show it in massive scales, but it works the exact same way. It'll automatically discover whatever hosts are in that cluster and mount the data store to every single host. So there you have it. In about 30 seconds, we created a volume, NFS exported it, mounted it to the hosts, and now we see it in both of the hosts. Oh, and by the way, since we had our plugin installed already from the last video, it automatically picked up and has NFS VAI support. Configuration, storage. There it is on the other host. So let's say we messed up. Right, remember we only created it for 10 gigs. Yeah, we messed up. It was supposed to be 100 gigs. So let's go over the data stores and clusters view. Select this data store. Again, same thing. Right click, NetApp, provisioning and cloning. Ooh, there's some new options there. Let's say we need to grow it. One screen. All you have to do. Let's make it 100 gigs. Are you sure? Yep, I'm sure. It's going to change the size of the flex vol on the back end and refresh the hosts. And done. Come on. There. Okay. What did that take? 20 seconds? 10 seconds? So even in a very, very nested lab environment that we're demonstrating here, this is happening in a matter of seconds. And if we go back to hosted clusters, look at the individual hosts, we now see that our data store is 100 gigs. But what if we messed up one more time and the guy who opened the ticket requesting this new data store be created, he doesn't really need it after all. He made a mistake. They found another place to put the storage, right? All fine and good. So let's demonstrate doing it from another view. We're going to do it on the host view. And we're going to go ahead and get rid of this data store because we don't really need it. Now this has some pretty interesting integrations right here, because what we're doing, if I had VMs that were in this data store, it would show me this list and it would not allow me to create without confirming it over and over again. It would not allow me to destroy this data store with all the virtual machines in it. If I am dead set on doing it, it's going to let me do it, but it will destroy all of the virtual machines that are in it, and it also removes all of the exports and flex volumes on the back end on the storage for you. Since I don't have anything, I can just click OK. Are you absolutely sure anything that's in here is going to go away? We click yes. And just like that, it's gone. One of the last things I want to talk to you about here is if we look at one of these other data stores, we'll pick this one just randomly, is under provisioning and cleaning. We've got a couple of other things here. The one I want to show you is deduplication management. This gives you a view as a server or virtualization administrator, or even a storage admin that's using the vSphere client to check up on his guy, or may even use it as part of your daily process. This gives you the ability to manage enabling and disabling, and even manually starting a scan onto a data store. Now we've got a deduplication state of disabled on this one. All we have to do is check a box, click OK. Are we sure? Yes. It's going to enable it. It's going to turn sys on the backend storage. And if we go back into that window, we'll see that it has been enabled, and we can even kick off a manual scan if we want to. So this is all storage-based functionality that you're activating and manipulating and configuring right within the vSphere client. You don't even have to go to any of the other tools. These sort of things we want the storage admin to allow the virtualization admin to be able to control, and even on a granular basis. Now, we recommend running deduplication on everything. Primary storage, secondary storage, whatever, it all works the same way. There's a little bit of processor overhead when it's doing scans, so you want to time it specifically so that it's not running a dedupe scan during the same time that you're running your backups. But other than that, it will not affect the performance of your servers or your virtual machines in any way, shape, or form while they're just serving production data. So you can see here the last scan was run, the last time it ended. It was pretty quick because there's nothing really in that. I think there's one virtual machine in there with 1.4 gigs. So it happens really, really quick. If you've got something like a couple of terabytes in a volume, yeah, it's going to take a little bit longer. But once you get past that initial scan, and as long as you leave it on for the foreseeable future, it's a daily scan that runs, and it only scans the changed blocks that have happened in that volume. So that's provisioning and cloning. Wanted to just drive you through that stuff. Going back in here, there is another feature called DS Remote Replication that needs its own video to go over, and we'll add that downstream. But hope you've enjoyed this one, and stick around. We've got some more coming. Thank you.